All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to TJK Podcast, Episode 3. My name's Todd Kasprzak, and we are featuring our co-host, Homie G, or Danny, whatever you want to call him.
Yep.
All right, so today we're going to be talking about, what I've been doing, for the past, couple years of me not being on YouTube that much. So, there's been a lot behind the scenes, of course, and, so the first thing is, I left, competitive Minecraft. And there's been like a lot of speculation on that. It was like a tough decision or something like that, or kind of like a situation where like I had no interest in the game anymore, if you know what I mean. But I mean, it had the group back in the day. It was me, Noah, Orland, and Seth. We would play like this group of 4 in Egg Wars on CubeCraft back in the day, and we were pretty competitive, and we won a lot of games, but also there was a lot of toxicity in the old friend group. Of course, today, just as a reminder, today only one remains is Noah. I don't talk to Orland or Seth anymore. They've been gone since 2021. So that's been like a thing that's changed a lot too. Also, you also have like, a couple other people that are not in the group anymore. So what remains now is me, of course, and then you got G over here, and then you have Logan, which we had in episode 2. Logan's always been still here, and Noah's the only remaining one out of the most of the 2021 friend group. Everyone else is we moved on from, or they moved on, or we stopped talking to them. But I just remember back in the day, there was a lot of like tension in the group, a lot of drama, and stuff like that. Of like, especially when we used to practice on each other when 1v1s, we would get highly competitive, and that's when stuff would go down, of us getting mad at each other for something and stuff like that. I remember the arguing in the VC all the time with other people. And that's where I did actually stop talking to Noah for like the brief time, but then of course he did end up changing, and then that's why I ended up letting him, letting him back in and talking to him again, because he's fine. We're gonna get him in a podcast. We're probably gonna make another episode of like all the old memories we had and the stuff that we did. It was great behind the scenes as like an old episode. There was a bunch of like wars back then too. Like of course, there was this person. I'm sure you've seen him in my old videos. It was so I'll discuss some about those people behind the scenes more, but like of course, back in the old days on YouTube, of course, you guys know the Dark Bomber series, and that and stuff. So there was a series where I did about the Fortnite skin, especially when it was new back in Chapter 1, Season 6, and I think a bit of Season 7. On the skin where we would make like her and the regular Bright Bomber skin, will make like a storyline of like how she was like an evil twin, basically, if you know what I mean. G, you get what I'm saying? Like an evil twin in the storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like there was like an evil like twin in the storyline, and we would like make her do like kidnap. Well, not like kidnap. Like just take her sister over and basically try to, I don't know what the intention was. She was like taking her to be evil, I guess, or get revenge, because she was like a neglected one of the family, because she always did evil things. In the series, there was not 8 episodes. There was 7 episodes, and basically what happened is like episode 8 was gonna become a thing, but it never did, and people to this day, which I don't get asked that much, but people have asked like what happened to it. So might as well explain it finally. It's been a long time since that episode or the series has even been talked about. The last series episode was, I believe, in 2019. It was part 7, where it was in the old Fortnite ice castle scene, where the Fire King was melting out of the ice thing, and we were like include him in the series. And of course, I believe in episode 7 too, there was Dark Bomber meeting like all the evil ice people and stuff. They were gonna team and take over. I forgot the whole entire storyline, but it was it was like something like that. And the reason why the episode never aired is because, this was at like a peak time where me and my old friend group were like having a lot of issues. It was mainly my fault. I will take the blame for it. So if you guys are watching, of course, you guys are gonna think that I'm gonna try to blame it on you. I'm not gonna, but it is mostly my blame. So of course, I really wanted to perfect these episodes and try to film them at a certain date. So I would try to force them online, and they would do it. But like, of course, they were not happy with me because the way I was treating them. Something wasn't right or something like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. The episode series was, I mean, we had a good time doing it. But like, if I like forced them on, it was kind of like a struggle because I would threaten to kick them off the episode thing. I remember the original cast crew. Well, it was of course me. I portrayed as Dark Bomber, because I was the one that had the skin, and of course, my old friend Adam had the skin for Bright Bomber. I mean, I had Bright Bomber too, but of course we needed someone else to do it because I was being Dark Bomber, and I was the one behind it that did it. And then of course you had I believe someone was called I think his name was Omar, but he went by the name of like Marshmallow or something in Fortnite. That's what we put him in the cast as. These are all people back in middle school that I knew. And it was kind of a perfect time. I mean, well, I'll explain why perfect time, because so my old friend group consisted of him and also Hypo, which you guys may remember. He was a big contributor to the episode. And of course, I thank him for everything about that. He had a lot of skins, and he played a lot of characters in the series because he played the game for such a long time. So you gotta appreciate him. And of course, that's it, I think. And then of course, Nick was my old best friend Nick, which, I mean, there was a lot of nostalgia with him. I've done a lot of stuff with him. He was like one of my first true best friends, and I'll always cherish that moment because it didn't last. I mean, it did last. It lasted 2 years, but it was my fault on why he will not even step foot in talking to me ever again because of what I did to him. I was a big asshole to him, and I wouldn't say I was thinking. Of course, if you ask him, he'll say like what I did to him. But of course, for me back then, like, I'm not like, I don't want to make it sound like I'm an excuse, of course, because everything I did back in the day was not okay. But one thing that like of course what I thought I was doing was messing around and joking around, but I really was upsetting him or doing stuff that he didn't like when we were talking. I mean, maybe we could get him on it. I mean, he probably will not talk to me. I've tried long time. We officially stopped talking in like 2019. I forgot the specific date. It was so long ago, where like it was the point of like no return. I don't know. It was like, I remember it. I vividly remember the last time that I would ever get to speak to him. So I was in it was in Discord. So I was in back before I owned a Discord server. Of course, we had a bunch of group chats, and we were in this main one. It was called like Group 152 or something. Or I used to have a gaming clan back in the day. It used to be called the Epic Clan. Actually, the original foundation of this Discord server was the Epic Clan server before I converted it into my Discord server, and then of course I had to make a new version off of the old server, which is what we're in today. Which, funny enough, is now 2 years old, but technically the foundation of it's like since 2019. But yeah, it was the Epic Clan, and they were a part of it. Of course, Nick had many username changes, but I mean, his most recent one I remember was Epic Etrem or Etrem. I forgot his name. He used to be into producing music. I still have some of his old music, which is actually in my 24/7 stream. So shout out to him. It's still in here to this day, which is crazy. Um, it's good music though, so gotta give him credit for that. But so like there was a point where shit was boiling up, where I was saying like fucked up things, and that's when he said, "All right, that's it, I'm done." And then he left. I remember him leaving that VC, and then him completely going in the chat all upset and stuff. And I was trying to fend for my case when I really should have done, like what I would have done now if I could go back in time was de-escalate it and stop try to stop it from getting worse. But I escalated it heavily to the point where he blocked me and he left the group chat, and I kept trying and trying. He had a cousin named AJ, which I believe I still have on Discord, but of course he's just never online. I don't talk to him anymore, but I tried talking to him to try to get in contact with him, but he said that he will not speak to me. And that's just how it ended. And then of course I haven't talked to him, and anyone who was still friends with him, I would tell him that I'm sorry, and then he would be like no. And there was this one point in my life where I was um like extremely upset about it, like depressed about it. Like I wouldn't like my summer was ruined because like I had no one to talk to. My old friend Adam also left me around the same time too, because he's left multiple times because of the way I treated him, and I I regret every second of it. Of course, because that's just how the way I acted. I was very controlling, manipulative, and even with some of the current friend group, which was gone, like as recent as 2021, I was kind of still in that ego or that feeling. It took me a long time to realize it. Of course, now with the very small friend group, because now people are moving on and shit. It's just a point where you have to try to open up, and I have, of course, ever since. But also, I have to keep some of myself a little bit intact, because sometimes when I am too nice, people will take advantage, which I had to deal with in school and stuff. But you know, it's just something like that. And of course, now I have like a lot of new friends I talk to, and also like in 8th grade, before like COVID struck and stuff. That's like when I lost all my friends. Around that time, going into 8th grade, I of course the only people I really talked to was your brother. That's how I met you. Of course, if you want to talk about that a bit. So of course, the way I met homie G back in like 2020 was his brother, because his brother went to the same school with me. Because when I lost all my friends, I would sit with his brother and lunch and stuff, and that's how we would talk and stuff. And then of course his brother, me and him played Fortnite a lot, and of course he invited you, and that's how stuff happened. Of course, I created your brother Discord and stuff, and then he invited you to my server. I forgot how it all started, but yeah, that's how it all started. If you remember that.
Yeah, I was like I was on like vacation somewhere. I think it was like I forget where. Probably like all I know is we were in a hotel, and then like that's when it all started.
Yeah.
And giving back to when I was in a foster home, but foster care for me is too much. But yeah.
Yeah, so that's how it was like back in the day. That's how you got in here. And of course, when you got in here, this was like the time where I was still kind of beefing with my old friend group, the people that still remain. Because when Nick and Adam were gone, Hypo was the only one left. But still, shit was escalating because of how I still acted towards him. I mean, I do respect that he was here. He still stayed through some of it before he eventually forgoed. I think that's the word, or went wherever. But that's when he said that's when he wanted out. Of course, the hyper war. It was, of course, I don't want to completely blame everything on him, because the way I acted back then to it, the way I retaliated was, in my opinion, not correct either. But I mean, so the way how it all started was, of course, in the group chat, which I still have archived in today. I just don't have any. I kicked everyone out of it just to save it. But when I ever look back into it, I see like I used to get mad at like things really easily. So like I remember him posting like laughing stuff and stuff that made fun of me and shit like that. I don't even remember, but something that like extremely pissed me off, and like that's when he left and stuff. And then of course that's when it all happened. And then he was trying to get other friends that were still friends with me to his side of the story, which he has. And then I would get them back, and then he would steal them again. And then that was my way of trying to start a war with him. It was basically over like friends to enemies, enemies back to friends. It was like a back and forth type of war. And of course, I also like said I like kept telling him, saying, "Pull up, let's duke this out and stuff." And I said some like messed up stuff. So yeah, I don't even want to get into it because it's inappropriate. But that's why I wanted to fight this kid. And of course, now I would not. I wouldn't want to. Of course, I don't. No one deserves that type of feeling. But of course, today I believe someone told me. I'm not gonna disclose them right now, but they said that he would never ever step foot in like a VC with me or talk to me unless someone was there that he knew, which I understand. Of course, someone that like literally like threatened everything. I mean, I still have videos of like a press conference when I was in Logan's Discord server VC, and he was in it, and it was like at 11 p.m. in 2020. I was trying to whisper and be quiet, but also be extremely loud and mad because I was pissed, of course, because of the shit that was happening. Where like I lost like two friends because they went to his side, but you know, he was going off and stuff, and I remember yelling at him and cursing at him out and talking about beating his ass to the point where he cried, and that's why I just hopped out of the VC. And Logan was just talking and stuff. I don't remember what happened after, but yeah, I broke him into tears. And, at some point, his parents got involved, and they drove all the way down to my house. Because of course, he doesn't live in my town anymore. He moved. But he moved to like another town, but he drove all the way down to my house to try to his parents tried to talk to my parents. I forgot the whole entire thing behind it, but Jesus, though, that's where like it finally like de-escalated. After that, I was like, I don't want to get in trouble. This is it, and that's how it ended. I mean, maybe we do get him on a podcast, open about my dark past. I really like. I mean, this podcast is about opening up about stuff behind the scenes and stuff of what happens. And I want to try to roll these out every Wednesday because I have a lot of good topics that people would really like to enjoy, or stuff that people would be interested in listening to. Our podcast is on Spotify and YouTube, and we're probably going to upload to SoundCloud and try to get on Apple Podcasts. So I'm still in the works of that, but right now we're on YouTube and Spotify. Of course, my main channel for that, and of course Spotify. I'll leave on my website, of course. But Now I've been, moving on to, a new stage in my life, of course, from the past, of course. Now I sportscast and stuff. Which right now I'm kind of in a debacle right now because so in my high school there's a program called the work study program. So what that is so in my school there's 9 periods. Well, technically 8 classes, and the ninth one period is lunch, but 9 periods total. And you have 4 periods before lunch, and then of course after lunch is the next four, kind of like your afternoon classes. And basically after that, after 4 periods, you don't have to take any of our classes. You get to leave school, and you have to have a job where you go to your job and you work for the rest of the day or whatever. And that's basically how it works. And I got lucky where I was allowed to, and it was accepted for me to have TJK Network as my job, and I now will get paid by it. But so how I am in this certain high school, because my middle school, you go to this certain high school which is 20 minutes away by default, but you can apply to another high school. And the one I applied to is like the town right over to me, because I'm like at the edge of my town to that town. So like it's only 5 minutes away from me for a drive. It's a very simple drive, and it's also a way nicer high school in like a way nicer, smaller area. And you know, the way how I got into it is because back in the day, I used to be into aviation. That was like a thing I wanted to do. I had flight simulators. I was devoted to it, and of course, that's how I got into school with the aviation academy. And of course, now I absolutely don't. I have zero. Of course, only like freshman year I was interested in aviation, but like now going into sophomore year, I lost complete interest, and I asked if I could leave the academy. And if I left the academy, I would get kicked out of the school, and I would have to go to the school that you would normally have to go to, because the school, I believe, that you were normally supposed to go to pays tuition for you to go to another high school. So if you don't want to do that commit anymore, you are getting the plug pulled and you get kicked out. You have to go to their school. Now, of course, I was in the class. It's completely fine because you do absolutely nothing in that class, because the academy has been an absolute like I would say like failure, sort of, because there hasn't been a proper teacher that's certified to teach aviation. It's all been science teachers that have zero interest in teaching, so they would just throw out assignments off the curriculum on Classroom, and they would just let us do whatever we want. But that's fine though. So I just hang out. There's these certain people in class that are cool, but also sometimes I get picked on, but because of my opinions. But it's fine. But I mean, so like the problem is senior year, the senior class of that aviation class is in period 9, and I'm in the work study, which means I'm dropping the last 4 periods. So I have no idea what's happening, and my parents got an email from the guidance team saying that like they have extreme schedule concerns. You need to contact us like as quick as possible or something. Which my mom is waiting still for a reply. But I am extremely concerned because I need this program, because I want to go home and work on the TJK network to make it even better, because this is something I have a true passion for, and this aviation academy isn't cutting it. Because when I go home, when I have to stay all 9 periods and I go home, it's a big rush, especially on a game day, to get everything done. And I want to improve this system, so I really need this extra time. So I want to see if there's like a workaround, like where like because the school, like I want to see if I can get an exception, because I'm not really interested in this academy, and it's only 1 year left in my high school. I'm like gonna be a senior, so like I wonder if they can like make an exception to let me let me in, or let me stay in the high school. But like I can like I can take the aviation class and just do the Google Classroom assignments just at home online, because like we don't do anything in the classroom anyway. So I can still be like enrolled into the academy, but I don't have to like be in the class unless like for midterms and finals, where like, that's fine because you only have to do 2 things a day. So that's no big deal. But that's basically my point I'm trying to get across. Maybe we can get like a workaround where we can talk to some people, because Like, I need this for my job. And I'm like, I already got the everything filled out and I'm complete and I'm already in this program. And I really do not want to leave it because it took a long time to get that stuff done and turned in. And basically, that's what happened in high, and also the high school. Going into that high school was a perfect new chance to make new friends and stuff from my dark past, and that's where I began to change. Because of course, during 8th grade, I mean, your brother was, I mean, no offense, of, he was a little bit strange with the way he acted, and made me uncomfortable in some situations. I'm not gonna get into it too much. That's why I don't. That's why he got his parents yanked him off of Discord. He's not allowed on it, so that's the thing. That's why we don't have him anymore. I have no contact of him. But I mean, I realized that I during that 8th grade year, I was somewhat depressed because I lost pretty much everybody at the time, and I was alone. And during lunch, I would sit with this only one person, but it was a point. It was like the darkest point of my life, and then of course COVID came and completely changed the school year and stuff. And that's where I'm gonna make a more. I'm gonna dig more deep in like my like school on another episode, which honestly it may be a good episode idea for another time. I'm just trying to get the basics written down about my entire YouTube history. So like back then, of course, during the COVID time, school was pretty easy, of course. But during that time, I'm gonna keep it. I'll detail more about this in another episode. But during YouTube, I would completely not I would neglect school and devote streaming during the time. All these PvP streams every day, and they would get a lot of views because during the COVID times, nobody was doing anything. No one could go out anywhere, and people were watching shit on YouTube basically. And you played some of the games, but during the old group. So my aviation friend group that I used to be a part of, that I still miss them. They were pretty cool people, but it was a toxic thing back in the day where we would basically what happened was that we would always go on this and stream and stuff, and we would make all these challenge videos. And that's where my channel peaked in subscribers and stuff. And that's when it all went downhill because these hackers came in and started messing around and trolling, and I got scared as shit. And then that's when I completely went off YouTube for a while, and I was never able to recover. But also at the same time, I can't completely blame on that. What also happened is that at the time, when shit started to open up again, people started losing interest in watching this type of content, and that's when people didn't watch it anymore, and that's when I started losing motivation. And of course, at the time too, I was getting grounded a lot for lacking in school because I really thought YouTube was a full passion. And of course, now this channel right here. Of course, I haven't been on it, and I haven't posted on it in a long time. So that's why I'm trying to catch up with you guys. Of course, now I don't think it's a true passion. This is excuse me. This is more of a hobby thing. Then this is where now I'll upload podcasts and a vlog I already missed on Saturday because there's nothing to do. I really do miss the old days, and Noah talks about it a lot too. I mean, those were the, if I could go back to those times, those were one of the best times. COVID, I mean, yes, it sucked that shit sucked from COVID, but shit was so great online. It really did heal my mentality after losing my old friends, because losing Nick was the biggest blow to my life, and I truly miss him to this day. We've done so much shit together. I mean, one of the Razer mice that I have was donated from him because I was trying to upgrade gaming mice, and he got a new one, and he gave me his old one, which I still have, and I always have that as I have like a bunch of stuff. Like I have a bunch of Polaroids of me and him, of like stuff that I cherish that a lot. And of course, there's not that much videos left of him on YouTube. Like the one big laser tag vlog for his birthday was one of the biggest things that like was like one of the best things in my life. I mean, I'm not a big like active person, which I'm trying to get, like trying to work out and trying to get something going in my life, but that laser tag thing was the most like best thing in my life I could have ever thought. I mean, it's like I mean, it's like an emotional thing to talk about because I could have still been hanging out and talking to him if I just didn't fuck up back then. And that's the thing with life. You make mistakes that you regret in the long run. And and of course I continue to make mistakes that I regret. But as you learn, I mean, like it's like it goes by so fast because things like that make me grateful for the things I have now, but wish I could get from the past, if you know what I mean. Like I would really love to get him on an episode and discuss about the past. That's how genuine I am now and how much I've changed. Because back in the day, the way how I would keep it strictly off camera, and if it got on camera, I would cut it off the video. But now this is like TJK. Like this is me being real with everybody here. Of course, now people in my high school know how nice I am, but that wasn't how I always was back in the day. Like even now, like when I get made fun of by like the popular kids, which I try to act cool with. That's how I am. I just try to not show it. And when I do get pissed off, I keep it to myself, or I will get mad, but I won't do anything. Like I'm not gonna fight them because I'll get fucking killed. I mean, they're way bigger than me. They're gym rats, and of course, what's fighting gonna do? It's gonna get me suspended. And I want to keep a clean record in the school. And that's another thing too. Like the way back in the day how I would try to get my friends back was outrageous. Was not the correct way. So I was a bit of like a spy back then. Like I would try to learn shit or like spy on them to try. I don't know why I thought that was gonna get Nick back. Like for example, so I have a friend across the street. His name's Thomas. He's an awesome person. And of course we just haven't talked in a long time. I don't know, maybe I should get him in a podcast episode. But I mean, it was like this like point in my life. I remember me, Nick would like come over to Thomas, or me and Nick and Thomas would come to my house and we would play Fortnite or do games and stuff like that or whatever. And it was fun. Like I had a great time, like my gaming laptop and stuff. It was a genuinely great time in my life. And I always cherished that. I remember us playing with Nerf guns around the house, acting like we were playing in a battlefield. It was great. We went swimming together and like sank Lego ships and stuff. I mean, this is how it was back in like middle school. I mean, I had a great time, and it's a true shame that, time flies, you grow up and stuff. I mean, like I'm 17 now. This was like back when I was like 13 or 12. This is already becoming like 4 to 5 years ago when I last talked to him. And it's crazy. There's a bunch of like videos I have that I haven't uploaded on YouTube because, I just haven't, I just didn't think they were good videos to upload of him on my hard drive that I cherish. And something crazy happened. So I have this 1 terabyte Seagate hard drive that I had since 2017 or 2018. That's crazy, right? And it's connected to this MacBook. Like, that's how long I've had it. I still use it. But, and I've had, like, YouTube videos since, like, got that hard drive on there. So, like, this, like, hard drive is, like, a big importance to me. This has, like, my entire YouTube life on it. You know? Like, this hard drive is big. And when I was trying to format a USB drive, I accidentally formatted the 1 terabyte drive, and my heart sank, dude. I lost like years worth of shit, and of course the laser tag vlog that Nick privacy struck the video because he didn't want his face on my channel anymore. Because I don't blame him. Like, he doesn't like me anymore, and of course he doesn't want videos with me and him on it anymore. That I understand, but I wanted to keep the copy of the video, like the video file and the original source files that built that video as like a cherishable memory. And I just lost all that because of a stupid format on my Mac. And I literally did everything to get it back. I spent $80 on recovery software, and I've kept my fingers crossed. It ran all night because, you know, it's a spinning hard drive. I ran it all night. I kept my computer on while it was trying to recover it, and I am so happy that it recovered everything. It recovered the majority of everything. I have every single piece. Of course, all the videos that were in folders were all like jumbled up, and of course, I had to resort everything. But that whole entire day that I dedicated to resorting the videos and building them back together and making sure where they are belonging. You know, it was worth it though. That $80 on that recovery software was absolutely worth it to recover all that stuff. And now it's on my file server. I of course my hard drive is empty now. I moved it all to my file server where it could be, and the hard drives that have it right now are off. So like they're all like in there right now, but I plan on putting it on a bigger SSD on my file server. But yeah, that was the biggest heart drop or heart stopping moment in my life. Because I thought I lost like years of YouTube memories of unuploaded, uploaded, or taken down or removed videos or hidden videos. It's crazy. Maybe I should do a video of me reacting to some of that stuff. But the problem is I don't want Nick to feel uncomfortable that I'm putting his face from like 4 years ago on my channel if he still looks at it, which I highly doubt it. But you know. So, you know, not going to a new high school did I'm starting a new life. I made up a lot of friends, and also, you know, stuff like that. I try to be on good terms with anybody that I've had problems with, which I've had problems with some people, but of course I try to make good terms, which I am now. But it's shit like this where, you know, I wish, you know, there's things that you'll always regret in life, but those memories I'll always cherish forever. And, you know, I remember the day that, you know, he left me, and I tried getting him back for years, all the way up to 2021, which was pretty recent, but it was already But so here's the thing. I actually got Nick back in 2021 where we were cool again, but it was a bad timing where I was still having beef with some people, like my other friends that were getting them involved, and then that's when they wanted out. And I don't blame them. It was a bad timing. And of course now everything is good and stuff. And that's just how life goes. And old memories like that are basically where, you know, you're always gonna have those in your brain forever. And also, if you do, and especially me having a heavy YouTube life back in the day, if you know what I'm saying, it's all like documented. And of course, I always try to keep that data safe. And, you know, memories with you. I remember you were, especially at that point where, especially during the hyper war, where he was like bullshitting on Fortnite with me. You were watching on Discord. You were fairly new to being on my server, and you remember that. You were making diss tracks on me for fun. I remember that. If you look at the freaking recordings, you were like making like I forgot what you were singing about, but I was like you were like singing like, joking diss tracks on me while I was getting fucking bullshitted and bullied on Fortnite.
Yeah, well, but I was still kind of shocked on what he was doing, though. I mean, like, though I was fairly new to what was happening. I mean, I don't know. It wasn't right what he was doing. It's
No, but also what
crazy.
I was doing back then to the entire group back then was not right for myself. As not, I should have been more true to myself back then. Cause
But yeah, in which back then, yes. I mean,
that could have
what you
prevented
did
it all.
was what you did. That wasn't right. What they were doing. I mean, what Hypo was doing wasn't right either. But
Yeah, I could
it's
have
all a
easily
constant
prevented
back
all
and forth
this.
thing.
I could say that I was the source of the war from like way back years ago that caused this to boil up. But like, of course, you know, the way that it was escalated between me and them was completely incorrect. But it was hypo. It was I mean, Nick was not involved in any of it either, but I'm sure he was like, seeing what was happening and stuff. And I remember my old friend Parker came on to help defend me in that game. Of course, he was always on my side. Of course, I don't talk to him anymore because he's been getting into some bad stuff, bad influences and stuff. So that's why I don't talk to him anymore. And there's been other people that I cut from my life because that they just aren't cool people, or they've done some bad stuff, and they're getting people on them and stuff. But I mean, I try to open up as much as I can. The best way to open up is for them to talk about it with me on a podcast episode, which I'll be down to do. But I don't know if they would want to be comfortable doing that. The only thing is to do is to ask them, which is gonna be hard to contact them because they have me like blocked on everything. So I mean, I may have one mutual connection left. I mean, we'll see. But I mean, my YouTube life has been like this. It's been like a big. It's been like a big loophole in like a lot of stuff. I've been through different stages. So like I went from like filming these like old gaming videos. Like I used to back then. Actually, funny part, back before I was friends with Parker, he was considered a quote unquote school bully when to me, Nick, and Adam. And there was always like altercations in school with me, him, and we would like have guidance. We would get detention for shit. We would get yelled at because he would tell the disciplinarian and shit like that, which is crazy. And I remember like the video is still up, which is crazy. The trolling video on Fortnite that caused everything. Everybody in school did not like Parker. I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that as a bully. I'm just saying that factually because, I mean, yes, I was. Of course, I was friends with him after. So of course, like, I don't mean this, but like everyone in school said, "Yo, you should troll Parker for a YouTube video. Yo, you should do this, that with him. Yo, you should make a diss track on him." That was the other thing too. Back in the day, I was big on diss tracks. I would make a diss track on anyone I hated, and because I have made diss tracks on Parker that I've never uploaded. But there's old roasting videos. Like one was taken down, of course, because the principal told me to, because he told the school. But yeah, there was this video where I was reacting to his videos and saying how cringe they were. It was me, Nick, and Adam. We were hanging out and we were watching these on as a reaction video. And the funny part is we would make fun of how shitty the quality was. But the funny part is that if you rewatch that video, especially I have a copy of it, the funny part is that I was recording that video in like 480p. Honestly, because my Surface Pro 3 could not handle OBS. I remember back in the day having computers that would not handle OBS, and I could not film gaming videos and anything. It was that shit hardware. And of course now, like, I have the most powerful hardware that I've worked for, that I can do this now, because now OBS is a big essential to me now, especially for TJK Network. It's the guide to how I broadcast all these games. It's literally the piece of software that literally makes TJK Network what it is. And back in the day, like I would like sacrifice any bit of quality to get as much performance as I can. and I filmed a bunch of videos with Nick on it because I used to edit. I used to edit videos on there with Filmora, which is still my editing software to this day. I use it on my Mac. That's another 2 point in my life. Back then, I used to be a Windows person, but now I've switched to Mac because I've been more of a productivity user. Because that's another thing too. When you get older, you start to not game as much. Like I used to be an addicted gamer back then. Like I used to be flunking school to just get sleeping, like lazy motherfucker. That's what I was. I mean, you could see my arms. Like I'm not muscular. I am a scrawny motherfucking gamer kid. That's why no fucking girls would talk to me. I mean, yes, I got done dirty twice, but it's fine. I accept it. It's no big deal. I mean, what I did was cringe anyway. But it is what it is. But people, make fun of me because of how goofy and I am and stuff, and even in high school. But it's not a big deal. I try to stay humble about it instead of getting mad, because then whenever I get mad, whenever I get mad for them doing anything to me, I try to think of the hypo war and anything of the lessons I learned, because I feel like that could happen, and I don't want to get that in high school. So I try just to get out of it, then escalate it, because then it's just gonna cause a problem in the long run. I try to de-escalate and try to get on good terms with everybody, which I have. There's probably people that do hate me in school, but that's their opinion, and I don't care. People can say ew to me all they want, but hey, you can say ew to me all you want, but I'm the one that's broadcasting your games, so big deal. There's people that I'm sure that hate me in school that play on sports teams, and guess what? Who broadcasts them? Me. I get paid to do it. And of course, now I'm gonna be covering more sports next year. So I don't care if you hate me or not. I'm just doing my job. But whatever it is, I'm sorry. But there's some things you just can't control. But so that simplifies everything about YouTube. I mean, 2020. So I had like different stages. I had like all these gaming videos I would film with Nick, Adam, Parker, if you want to include these people, even Thomas. Some of these vlogs I would film where we had a great time together. And then of course when I started getting depressed because I lost that entire group, and me and Thomas, we never stopped being friends. We just slowly became more apart because one, he goes to another school district. He's also pretty. When I did talk to him recently, which was like 2021, so I wouldn't say that recently. He doesn't talk to Nick that much either, because you get separated because you go to different school districts. That's just what happens. That's just the real nature. But it would be nice to sit down in a podcast set to talk about it again. Look back on the good times and even the dark times, to open about it and what we would have done differently. But that's just the way life goes. It would be nice to sit down and open up about it and just review on what the past was. Because I've been through these YouTube stages, and then of course 2020 and 2021 was the COVID era. That's when my channel started peaking, and of course this is when I had my new group. So here's the thing: how I met Noah, which we should probably discuss more in another podcast with him in it. I met him through another friend. That's all I'll say for now. We'll get back into we'll talk about it when he's in an episode with us, because I feel like we should dedicate that episode to him, with him in it. But yeah, I met him through another friend and stuff, and of course he invited his friends, and that's how we formed our PvP group, and that's how we played Minecraft competitively. We also had our Minecraft server, which I still play on to this day. It's still active. I love that server. It's now more just like my private build server more than what it was, but I have like this Minecraft server where originally it was like a city server, And this server is old as hell. Like this server, I started in 2016. This server is like 7 years old. It's kind of crazy that this server is still. I still play on it. I still make new builds on it. It's a 7-year-old Minecraft world, and there's been so much memories on it with my old friends and stuff. From Nick, Parker, Adam, they've all been on it and stuff. No, like even the current friends and stuff. Noah, you, even former friends. Like it has a lot of memories. Like people's builds are still on there. Some are gone now because of the mods that are the ridiculous weather mods in the server that make the server realistic, or me just demolishing them because they go abandoned. But like the TJK Nation, which is what it's called now, because I expanded it to a country because of how big it's gone from a city. It's another cherishable piece of my old friends because Minecraft is like a big thing of like of people growing up, especially your old builds with your old friends, and like slowly they fade away because now I'm the only active person who goes on there to hang out. No one else plays on there anymore. It's like everyone faded away. So whatever builds they have remaining, it's all like a piece of history of them, of like who was on here, and anyone else to anyone who's new that would join it to just check it out. I would tell them, it's a piece of history. It's something that I would cherish forever. And of course, the TJK Mansion, which is something I built way back in 2020. That's another big important Minecraft piece because that's been through a lot of drama too. The first podcast episode was filmed in a Minecraft podcast set in that mansion. Of course, it's no longer. We don't do Minecraft podcasts anymore because I'm trying to shift away from that. I'm trying to be more professional. I still play the game, but I don't want to do it on camera anymore because not a lot of you guys want to watch anymore because of demand. I like to try to show my real person now, and that's another thing too on YouTube. I used to be a very camera shy person because I just don't like the way I looked, and I still really am trying to build the way what I want to look with exercising because I went to my first gym trip with Logan of going to the gym and experiencing fitness for the first time in my life. And don't get me wrong, it was tough. I powered through it. I did nauseate myself though. But, that's the whole point of, growing. Just to try to do stuff that would improve yourself on life. And that's something I will think about. And it's the way life will go, basically. And simply explain that it's self-explanatory, where life is it's not like it's stuff that's gonna happen. It's where people come and go and stuff. And of course, this is why my YouTube history. This is why I also haven't been on YouTube because I've gotten so busy with TJK Network, and I also haven't been into gaming, and that's what this channel's been known for in the past. So not doing those things anymore. That's why I just haven't been doing anything on this channel. So that's why I don't stream PvP anymore, and I'm not probably gonna live stream a lot as much. I may do a live podcast every so often, but who knows? It's something where things aren't they what they seem. I mean, you want to talk about like your memories from like the old group, from your era, from stuff like that.
From my point of view,
Yeah, I might as well get your point of view because I explained a lot of mine.
well, where is one to start though? And hmm, you mean like the Discord, right?
Anything, yeah.
Uh, well, hmm. I mean, well, for one, the Discord era, you know, um, even from when I started out, when I started to know you, uh, I mean, I'd say it went well, but then it went well because I mean, the hype war, that was one thing, fairly new. Was still shocked on what was happening, but I helped you along the way. But you know,
Also, another thing I have to
um,
mention, I was of extreme even from 2020, 2021. I was an extremely angry type of person. Like I would get mad at a lot of things easily from people, and that's what caused a lot of
right,
people to leave it too in the long run.
right. And then let's see the era after that. Um, well, that was good too, but then there was ups and downs.
There was
So
a lot of ups and downs with people
there
back in
there
the
was
old
things
go.
I liked, there was things I disliked, but that was that. Same thing when the era after that with
Yeah,
Noah, Seth, Orlin. There were still ups and downs. Things I didn't like, things I liked,
yeah. The
but
jokes.
it just happened.
That's another thing I would like to mention in this episode because we're just talking about the YouTube past and some of the old memories. I mean, you got. I'm not. I don't want to discuss it too much. I'll wait till Noah gets into another episode. But I mean, there were jokes that each other did, like would find funny, and then certain ones would not find funny. We can always discuss that in a future episode too. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, like that's another thing. So of course now with like TJK Network and stuff, and the way that life's been going, my next episode, I'm probably gonna try to get Noah in it and talk about that. I also want to get my fellow broadcasters on for just one episode to talk about the sports in my high school for fun. I have a lot of episodes down the drain. Well, not down the drain. Coming down the way, I should say. And I have a bunch of ideas that we can do. That's just the YouTube life and nostalgic memories, of course, of like how I became the person I am today and how I am gonna come back on YouTube just with as basically a podcaster because I just want to discuss about my stuff behind life, and if I can vlog, I will get the chance to. I want to do this one big vlog where me and Logan and you go to like some haunted place in our state and see if it's real,
Right.
basically. That'll probably be the big vlog of the year, just like the iBook G4 prank at the Willowbrook Mall. And that's what made it crazy like that. I remember that prank vlog. It was fun. And of course,
Yeah. That was the very first time we all three of us met from being
it's the
online.
only time you've hang out saw Logan, but at the same time, I mean, I saw
Yeah.
it's been I recently I did hang out with Logan. I mean, it's been a long time because the last time I did see him was that boxing match that actually started TJK Network, and it ended up not happening. And of course, that was the last time I saw him. And then of course he's got this lifeguarding job, so he's extremely busy every day. And he's also making like trying to make videos 3 days a week and stuff, and film a TB podcast. So yeah, um, he's always busy 24/7, so it's hard for him to make time for anything now. So every time, so he's trying to he's gonna try to make time, hopefully, to film some stuff with us. But I mean, that's the future of TJK. The TJK brand is my podcasting because I want to talk. I like talking about stuff, and of course, I like vlogging because I just have lost interest in the past. There's been a lot to learn in the past about life lessons and stuff. And also, just to mention, when I did lose Nick, I got grounded because my mom tried reaching out to his mom, and that's where she told him like everything that's been going on, and that's where I got into big trouble. And getting grounded, that's fine though. Like back then, I was pissed about it because again, I was self-sufficient. I thought I wasn't in the wrong, of course. But of course, now when you look back at it, of course, yeah, that was I was an asshole.
Uh,
Of course, I got punished for it. It took me a long time to finally realize it. Because, it's all about the learning process. And that's how shit goes down eventually. You know, I just, regret the things in the past, but now I gotta look into the future with my new self and what I want to do. Now I'm almost gonna be an adult. Like December is my birthday, of course, December 7th, and I was born in 2005. So I'm gonna be 18 years old. That means I'm gonna be an adult, which is crazy.
Yeah, you're only partly legal because there's only so much you can do with at 18, like lottery tickets. Um, so I mean, somehow that's all I can think of
I
for some
know
reason.
that's crazy though. That I'm gonna be an adult.
Oh yeah, no lottery tickets. You have your own privilege to like move into an apartment.
Yeah.
Um,
I also gotta think about college because I want to take TJK Network
yeah,
to
that's
another
when the
level.
college era comes in.
In college, you take a lot more seriously than high school, of course,
Yeah.
because you're paying to go there, or especially if your parents are. Yeah, if you do anything fucked up, you're gonna get kicked out, and your parents are definitely not gonna be happy, especially if they helped you get to college. But yeah, I was just trying to get my point across. And this is basically the more detailed podcast because I made a video of where I've been, and this is like the detail, like a bit of the details of like I dug mostly deep on the past of the YouTube channel and like how it was like off camera. I'll make, of course, more videos or another podcast with Noah in it, and maybe more, and maybe some of the we could try to get some of those former people in here, and we can open up about it more and dig even deeper and get their side of the story because I would love to hear their side of the story because I back then when I would hear their side I would like completely ignore it and neglect it, but now to sit down and talk about it on camera and open about it to people that wouldn't on my channel that wouldn't even known about this off camera, it would be surreal. And that's just how I want to conclude it. So I like to thank everyone for listening to this podcast. And I'm excited to make more episodes and hopefully feature some more guests. I have a lot of episodes planned ready that I would like to get done, and now I have even more just discussing off of a podcast. So yeah, of course, Homie G, you can find him on YouTube, GreatMoneySavage, and also I think it's G Money Savage on Instagram, or is it just Great Money Savage?
It was like I. Well, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, I should make other like YouTube accounts,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, so you can find them on there. And for me, you know where I am. Of course, you're on the channel. You can subscribe. You can even subscribe to TJK Network because during the fall is when I'm going to be starting up my sports broadcasting if you just want to watch that. But mostly that channel is mostly for people in my town that like want to watch the sports games. But if you want to go check it out, go ahead. I ain't stopping you. And of course, you can always check out my third channel. That's where I'm probably going to upload random garbage, like videos on technology, because that's not something that is not gonna go on my main channel. That's gonna have just like an upload schedule of like whenever I can upload. And of course, you can check out my Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Those are all at TJK152. And of course, my website is TJK152.com that has my merch. And we're going to make a podcast page. And of course, it has my TJK network page. You can find that all in the description below. All right. So I'd like to thank everyone for listening or watching this podcast episode. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace out, everybody.